So we're going to work on the rest of our event flyer, and you see that I already have my title up at the top that is created with Photoshop. I have my cutout of my plate, and I've added a rectangle. You can do something different, but this is how I'm going to lay mine out. The next step for me is I want a large question mark to represent trivia. So grabbing my type tool, I will click and drag to make a text frame. I'm going to type in my question mark. I want my question mark to be rather large. I'm going to drop it down to the largest point size that shows up on here. And I want it to be the same font as my headline, which was Arial Black. So I'll start typing Arial on my keyboard. Once I've clicked on the drop down for my font, there's Arial Black. Now, I can keep bumping up. If I select this question mark, I can keep bumping this up. I could type in like 200 points. And I could keep making that bigger. If you see your shape go away, you see this little plus line shows up. That means your text frame's not big enough for your text. So I'm going to make my frame just that size. But for me, I want to treat this as a graphic element. So I'm going to select Type, Create Outlines, which will turn this into a shape as if I drew it with the pen tool. I won't be able to change the font anymore, but I don't care about that right now. So once I have that done, I can scale it up with my black arrow pointer just like I drew it as a shape. So, 'cause I want this thing to be really big. Alright, I think I want to use a color that's similar to the title. So I'm going to choose a red with, I click on my stroke here, a black stroke. And I will turn the size of my stroke up. And then you'll see that you have effects just like you do in Photoshop here. I'll add a drop shadow just like I did in Photoshop. You can see the shadow on there. So it's about the size I want it to be, something like that, a major element. Now it's over top of my plate. I'm going to select my plate, and if you can't get a hold of it, hold down your control key and click until you get the object. Right click on my plate and say Arrange and bring to front. That'll move my layer order. I actually want my plate to kind of sit off the bleed a little bit with my question mark underneath it. My question mark can be maybe a tad bigger. You can see that a little longer. And I might say that, well, I want my question mark to be there but not so bold. Up here at the top there's a transparency. Right underneath that, effects, and I can start turning that down, and that will kind of push that back a little bit. You can decide if that's a sort of effect that you might like to have. So I need to start filling in the details of what is this, when is it, why you want to be there. So I know that I want to put on my logo, so that's the where. That's pretty obvious. So if I come back out to Computer Apps and find my logo, make sure I'm in the right spot here. Documents, Computer Apps. Now we can scroll down. Proud Peacock logo. You can bring in the Illustrator version since you're in InDesign. Make sure when you go to place that in, you don't select something that's already here because it will then place it inside of that frame. A lot of times I click out on the pasteboard to place. Control Shift to scale that down. I know I want that to be down here in the left-hand corner. Using my lines of alignment, I want to keep everything over here on the left. In fact, I might even make this go edge to edge here. So I want the T to be on that edge. I'll put that up at the top. And I want the A to be on the other edge. And that will allow me to bring those together. So I know my logo is going to be in here. Let's add a text box. I'm going to click and drag to add some details here. 101 Main Street, Lexington, Illinois. Let's maybe add in some other information. www.proudpeacock. Phone number. And I want to choose a font that sort of matches what I have here, using repetition to repeat the different elements of my page. So I like Arial. I'll stick in that family. And I'm going to drag that down so that sits right on the same edge as here. That's small, but I'm going to use that as a basis for the rest of my text. So now that I have that set, I'll hit Control-C, Control-V to copy that text box. I'm going to come up here to the top, and because that's black text on a black rectangle, I can't see that. But if I'm going to double click on that frame and hit Control-A, I can select that text. Now I want my text color to be white. So when is my Tapas and Trivia? It's going to be every Tuesday, of course, another T. So I will select these and type every Tuesday night. I want that to be bigger, right? So Control-A to select it all, and I can just keep bumping this up. Now notice as I make that bigger, my frame contains it, so make my frame a little bit bigger there. Now, how much does it cost? Well, I want to include that, so I'm going to copy and paste this frame. And I want to make sure we know that it is free, all caps. I want that to be really big. If your text goes away, just make your text frame a little bit bigger. And what's free? Is the Tapas free? No. It's free to play. I want that free to stand out. Try to make your text frames just as big as you need them. As they start overlapping, it'll be bothersome if they are all over each other. So I can take these three and hold down my Shift key, select them all together, and using my arrow pointer, I can sort of move them back and forth. I can start fine-tuning what this looks like here. I want that rectangle to be just that size there, sort of playing off of that. Now I want to say something about the small plates. So again, I'm going to grab this and copy and paste it. So I don't have to keep thinking about everything that I have. I want to say something about small plates. Let me zoom in on that. I'll say small. I don't need plates, maybe half off during trivia. And let's put a little bit more information on that. Bump this up. 7 to 9 p.m. So you can see that my text here is not close to here. I can put those in separate boxes, but there's also this, right underneath your font size is what's called the leading, which controls the space between. Let's see if I can get that to come together here. Maybe not. Let's see if I bring it in here. There we go. So I can actually bring that together with that leading. It controls how close those lines are to one another. Okay, so I have the basis for my Tapas and Trivia flyer. I could add in some more graphics in here, but it's looking pretty good. I could decide that this is maybe too much weighted on the left. I could move my Peacock Trivia over to the right and balance that out. But this gives you the general idea of what I would be looking for, and you can start fine-tuning from there. Make sure you save as you go. Good luck.